I always tell people if you date a dancer, you can never go back. You will be f***ed up the rest of your life because we will mess with you. You will never, ever get the same. I'm sorry. It's a thing.
You said up on top. Ooh. Right. I got a podcast.
I to the no.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of I'm literally screaming. Oh my gosh. Everyone in the stands, they're taking off their clothes. They're standing, they're cheering. Wait, what are you clapping with right now? Sorry, everyone. Anyways, as you all know, I am Spencer, otherwise known as Spencewuah. And today I am joined by a very special guest, Divinity Ray. How has your week been? So it's a Monday. I just it's always like my gut instinct to be like, how's your week or like your week been? But we were together the weekend.
We just met.
Yeah, we did.
And I feel like I've known you for so long.
And we met when Leo was here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to unpack that bar fight we witnessed?
Oh my God. So I have been wanting to meet Leo for the longest time because him and I are like the same person, except he's a guy and I'm a girl. And so I pick him up and we park in WeHo and we're walking down the street and we're going to beaches, and suddenly there's just like this fight that breaks out in front of us, and Leo gets really tense and he's super protective. So he like immediately put his arm in front of me and was like, don't move. And I was like, little do you know, I also fight, bitch.
Like as you said, wait.
I'm about to like.
You said, hold on, like Leo, you can sit
like,
back.
Hold on, why don't you step back, Leo?
Yeah, you said, Leo, back the hell up. Do you want to know how that all unfolded?
I have no idea. I just saw the aftermath when the guy was getting punched in front of beaches.
I just remember the bartender jumping over, and then all of a sudden I see like this big ass security guard, like he is so tall, walks over. This guy gets pushed to the ground, but at the same time I got pushed into the bar, so I was like, I'm not doing this. And I ended up being pretty and sitting in a corner because not that night. Then the next thing I know is like this guy, he like, I don't know how drunk he was, but like every time he went down, by the grace of God, he came back up. And I don't know like why he kept getting back up. I would have actually been like, okay, I'm leaving. But he ended up going down. I remember he dropped his phone and I actually picked up his phone.
Yeah.
And I handed it to the bartender and I was like, what do I do with this? And he was like, I don't care. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know this isn't my phone. So the bartender took the guy's phone, handed it to him. They're dragging his ass out. And I think that's when I saw you. So then he ends up.
Was I taking my hoops out at this point?
I just remember turning and I was like, who's that tall guy? And I was like, Leo. Right. So then I see Leo and you were walking in, and then I just remember he like left. He was gone for maybe 10 minutes. He came back to the bar. So our mutual friends, her and her partner, that's when my friend's partner stepped out because they saw the guy like drag this girl by her hair to the ground. So my friend's partner runs out there and then he ended up pushing them to the ground. So then my other friend, Emmy ran up on him with her phone, and I'm not joking, like all I saw, I was like still inside the club. All I see is bah, 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 bah. Like she was smacking him in the head with her phone. So we all left, right? And then as we're leaving, I look at this guy's head and I was like, damn, like, why is his head bleeding? Emmy didn't know that she made him bleed, but she definitely did. Like, don't touch, like, what? Like, this guy was on something.
No, I felt so bad because, I mean, obviously, like, Leo and I follow each other. And then I finally met you, and he was like, you're going to love Spencer. And I was like, who's Spencer? Like, we weren't even following each other on social.
No, we weren't.
It's fine. We weren't following each other at all.
Mm-mm.
And I, like, instantly was obsessed with you.
I literally, I think the first thing I said to you was like, show me your tattoos now. And I actually was like, I hope you don't mind. I literally, I looked at you, I said, I hope you don't mind, but this is going to be a while. And I walked around you and I was just like holding your arm, and it was the mermaid, the siren, right?
Yes.
And I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
See,
well, because it's not very often that people actually take interest in my tattoos. They kind of sexualize me a little bit. They're like, ooh, tatted girl. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
But like, I feel like
you genuinely took an interest in my tattoos.
Because I also like have tattoos, and like, I want to get a new one. I want to get the giving tree, like right here.
We talked about this.
Yes, because my mom used to read it to me growing up all the time, and I wanted to get the giving tree here, but I had to wait because at the time it's still healing when I fell at the Super Bowl because I thought I was going to miss Rihanna's halftime show. That was so much. I fell again. Like,
Did
literally,
you?
yeah, like, I've been stumbling and falling, like, a lot recently, and I think, like, it's God's way of being, like, go home. Like, it's been, like, wild.
Girl, I just stand up and I just own it. I just do the hair flip. I'm like,
see, like, I was,
just
like,
gotta own it. I fall everywhere, though, because I'm a dancer, and we're always super, what's the word I'm looking for? We're, like, miscoordinated. Outside of the studio, I run into everything. I trip over everything. I fall on everything.
You dance?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm a professional dancer.
No way. Yeah. Okay, so what are your favorite dancing styles?
Oh my gosh, I do heels and burlesque.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I'm trained in ballet, though. I went professional in ballet when I was 18.
Really?
Yeah, I was in ballet for 22 years, and then my body got curvy because I went into womanhood. It's like, okay, no longer fit in the tutus, so started doing heels and burlesque.
When your like body started changing, was it like harder to get, because I know with dancing, because I grew up with a whole bunch of friends who were dancers. I did dance for like 2 years, but I remember like my friends were like so hyper fixated on like the dancer body. Did you notice that like when your body was changing that like you weren't getting certain like parts?
Oh, I spiraled.
Really?
I spiraled like totally. It's actually part of my story. Like that's actually a big reason why I got on social media, to be honest.
What about like joining social? How do those correspond?
How do those two come?
Yeah.
I trained in Russian ballet my entire life. Have you seen Black Swan?
Yes.
That's my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
A lot of people don't know this about me because now I'm so beauty and fashion and like mental health. But I was literally Natalie Portman from Black Swan, like down to the gay stuff. It's like so funny because I swear to God, ballet made me gay.
I'm not joking. A lot of my friends who did dance were. You know who you are. I feel I just like, even like when I was growing up and I was doing theater, it's like you're just like immersed in like like gay culture because it's like. Performing.
Well, it's very fluid. It's not even gay. It's just fluid. You're about energy. You're about beautiful bodies.
Being
Humans
like
are beautiful.
Like energies all like commingling, being together, making sure you're all on like the same page,
right?
Going off of one another.
And there's such an intimacy that comes with dancing, especially if you're dancing with a partner.
Yeah.
Your bodies are intertwined. It's not sexual, but it feels so spiritual almost because your bodies are intertwined and you feel this energy exchange with the person you're dancing with. So it kind of opens your eyes to being attracted to different types of people.
Got it.
I swear to God, my sexuality started then. But yeah, I mean, I just was obsessed with ballet. I didn't want to do anything else. Nothing ever appealed to me the way that ballet did. And I thought I was going to be a prima. And then I went through puberty late and I got boobs at a very late age. And like, it was like overnight I looked down and suddenly I had tits.
You were like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah. I was like, oh, I can't see my shoes. Cool. And then
that's what when I was in high school, I had the same problem.
Of course you did.
But that was because like I was bigger. Like I woke up one day and I was like, well, actually, I'm not joking. I didn't know soy could give you boobs.
That's a thing.
Do you want to know how I found out about that?
How?
Because soy gave me boobs. I tried to be like vegan. Like when I was like trying to start losing weight, I became vegan and I would always eat like these like soy-based foods.
Yeah.
And then I went to the doctor because I was like, why are my why does it look like I have boobs? And he was like, Spencer, like, what have you been eating? And I was like, I don't know, like I've been trying to be vegan.
Right.
And he was like, so what are the ingredients? And I was like, I don't know, like a lot of like nuts, soy. And he was like, no more soy, because soy actually did give me boobs. Okay, sorry for cutting you off.
No, I love this. We're bonding over tits.
No, that's right. Like that's powerful.
Yes, it is.
Divine feminine. I love that.
Come on, Lana.
So you go through puberty, your body's developing. What then happens?
Well, so there's 3 different types of ballet. Nobody knows this, but there's Vaganova, which is Russian.
Okay.
There's Balanchine, which is American, and there's Cecchetti, which is Italian.
Okay.
So Cecchetti and Vaganova are way more strict, especially Vaganova. Balanchine is way more accepting of your body,
Okay.
you know, because it's very flowy and like it's all about movement. Whereas Vaganova ballet is so hardcore and they want the ballerina to look a certain way.
It's like you need to dance a certain way, but at the same time, it's like look a certain way.
It's almost militant.
Okay.
And so I think that's where a lot of my discipline and my passion came from, just this burning desire to accomplish this thing that a lot of people can't. But at the end of the day, Vaganova ballet comes from a background of people literally having babies in Russia and putting them directly in ballet when they're infants and having them like twist their hips in a certain way to make sure they have good turnout when they develop. And like they sometimes they even break their feet a little bit, like to make their feet really good. It's a whole thing. Like Russia's really intense with ballet. So that's the style I was trained in. And so I was up against this unachievable standard with my body. And then my puberty was derailed because I was underweight. I had an eating disorder since I was 11. And so I think when I went professional and was told by all of these dream companies that I had always wanted to dance for, you have the perfect technique, you have the perfect feet, you have the perfect legs, you have the perfect extensions, but you have to alter your body to fit into the costumes, not the other way around, because I'm wearing these costumes that have been around since, 20, 30 years. They've never been altered. And so they took one look at my chest and my hips and they were like, you no longer fit. And I went off the deep end. I didn't know how to digest that.
Did you blame yourself at
first? Of course. Yeah. And I mean, it went really dark, it went into self-mutilation. It went into starvation, like on another level where I had actually a friend when I was 17 call me out on having anorexia. And she actually physically slapped me across the face and was like, you have a problem and I need to take you in. And she was driving me to the clinic. And like, that was kind of where it started, just this like dark spiral of, taking things out on my body and not being good enough and always having potential. And so that's kind of how I started on social media, just like opening up about that journey. And a lot of people had seen me as a dancer for so many years that social media was a way for me to promote my dance shows. And then people were like, oh God, what is she doing now? So that's kind of where it started initially.
I'm glad you had a friend that was like that though, because I had a best friend in high school. Those people that you no longer talk to, but it's like you love them.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about her. And
actually how I feel about mine too, because we don't talk anymore.
I don't talk to my
but I mean, she saved me in a lot of ways. Like I'm very grateful.
when I was in high school, I feel like when I grew up like bigger, like I was never, when I was like in high school, like before my junior year, I was never like slim. I was never skinny. And it was always really hard for me because all my cousins actually were like so thin, like, and not even just thin, like they were fit. Like my aunts were, like even when I was growing up, my mom was, and I just felt like very out of place. And I remember it was at one point I was like, what can I do? And I just started like counting calories. And then I started noticing that I was losing weight, and then I hit a plateau, and then I was like, oh, let me just eat less calories. And that's all I was doing. I was going to the gym, I was eating less calories. And I remember one day, I used to, me and my friends, because I went to, it was like a magnet high school. Yeah. We had our own black box theater. And my friends, we would all like eat lunch together. And at one point, I stopped like bringing in lunch. And like I would lie to my friends and say I was going to the cafeteria to eat, and I would come back with like a bag of plantain chips. And that's all I would eat like all day, a bag of plantain chips. And one day, my friend, who was like the one who kind of like was like, get your shit together, she was like, I'm gonna come with you to the cafeteria. And I was like, why? I was like, I'm just gonna go eat and then come back. And she was like, no, like I just want to come to the cafeteria with you, like I'm gonna get lunch too. And that was like one of the first days like I bought lunch, and she saw that I didn't eat it. She just saw that I went to the vending machine, got plantain chips, and she was like, bitch, what's going on? Right. Like, what are you doing?
Thank God for those friends though that actually see you in those moments, because people like us, we like suffer in silence in a lot of ways, especially since you're humorous. You can probably mask it really well. I'm sure a lot of people didn't pick up on it.
Not at all. And that was a thing. And what's so odd is like, it was so easy for me to brush it off as like, oh, I just go to the gym. Right. And also in that same breath, I feel like what people don't understand, especially growing up on the heavier side, at least even now I know this, like people treat you differently when you lose weight. And when I was losing that weight, there was people would be like, oh, you look so good. Like you look so much better. Like this, that, and the third. And it was like, those were the things that like kept pushing me to want to lose weight. And I'm not saying it's their fault, but it's like you get treated differently. And it's almost like you're no longer just trying to achieve this body that you have in your head. It's like you want people to notice like how thin you are. And like that was my issue. It was like after a while I was like, oh, okay, like I enjoy going to the gym, but like I want people to notice like this change, even though it was unhealthy, which was like really bad for me. But then I started going to therapy and I've been going to therapy my entire life, but I started actively going into my senior year of high school. And then when I was going to therapy at one point, I remember it was also my therapist who helped me a lot. Because I remember when I would come in, it was like bi-weekly at the time. And I remember at one point, like 2 weeks went by and I lost like weight. And my therapist was like, Spencer, you look different. Are you losing weight? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, so what have you been doing? And I was like, going to the gym and like counting my calories. And she was like, how many calories do you eat a day? And I think I was eating like 1,200 a day, which is like not good. Cause like I started off at like 2,000, then I dropped to 1,500. And then I would like, my calorie counter would say 1,500, but I didn't want to go over 1,000. It was bad. And then my therapist was like, no. Like, we need to talk about this. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm glad that I had like my therapist. And did you ever go to therapy for your eating disorder? Or was it more so like you had your friends kind of like bring you?
No, I mean, I'm really proud of you for actually going to therapy because you're young too. You're 21.
Yeah. But like,
how old were you when you were going through all of this? Was this high school?
Yeah, I was in high school. But my initial reason for going to the therapist wasn't for my eating disorder.
Okay.
I knew I had one, but I wouldn't admit it. It was because I had like really bad OCD. And I was like constantly, it was actually my guidance counselor who recommended I go to a therapist because I had like a problem with checking things. Like I constantly had to like check my book bag to make sure I had everything or like check the door before I left. Like it was like, I have to make sure it's locked. And it got to a point where I was checking my front and back door 8 times before going to school. And I remember one day I got on the bus and I was running late, so I wasn't able to check the doors. And I convinced myself that someone was going to go into my home and skin my cats alive. Like this is a lot, but like that's OCD. Like I actually was convinced that someone was going to break in, I was going to come home and my cats would be hanging from the ceiling skinned alive. And I bawled all the way to school. I ended up going to my guidance counselor's office and she had to turn off the lights and play meditation music. She called my mom. My mom had to calm me down. And then I started going to therapy for my OCD. And then that's when like the eating disorder, like that's when she was like, okay, like you're here for your OCD, but like clearly there are other things happening that you're not addressing.
The OCD and eating disorders have something in common. It's
like obsessive.
Control. Just being in control. And I mean, it's almost like too, your OCD probably triggered your eating disorder as well, because OCD is very specific. Like every little thing has to be just so. And so when you take that out on your body, it's like you're looking at your body and you're looking at all of these crevices and details of it that you don't like, and you can go mad. And
that's literally what my therapist told me. She was, because I was, again, when I started, I like wasn't addressing my eating disorder. It was like, why don't we talk about why you check your front and back door 1,000 times, like type of thing. And then when she noticed that like I was rapidly losing weight still, she was like, she actually did tell me, she was like, you do know that like OCD, even people with ADHD have like hyperfixations, but like with OCD, your hyperfixation is also like accompanied by like those, like if I don't do it, something's going to happen. And like, I never kind of like put that together, and I didn't know like my OCD could like jumpstart an ED. But when I first started, I didn't have one. It was like when I started counting the calories, that's when I was like, oh, we have to stay under this number. So like that makes a lot of sense that you like bring that up. Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's been kind of a common theme in my journey is just constantly having the face on that everything is okay, because I'm a performer. And I think that this is why I resonate so much with Lana Del Rey, right? This like soulful, witchy, misunderstood woman. I just feel like during my lowest points, no one had any idea what was happening because, as my coach always said, the show must go on. So in my skinniest state, I was so obsessed with making it as a ballet dancer. I didn't even, it's almost like I didn't put together the wires that while I'm going professional in this career that I've been working towards my entire life, I'm also breaking bones left and right because I'm malnutritioned. I snapped my wrist twice back to back. Literally, I had the cast taken off of my arm. And when I went back to dance, literally that week, I snapped it again because that's how brittle my bones were. Like I was malnutritioned. And it sounds very privileged for me to talk about my eating disorder at this stage in my life. And that's why I don't really open up about it a whole lot because I do, nonprofit work and I work with people that battle poverty and battle, being in lower income neighborhoods and not being able to access, nutrition and good food. And I think about this
way we did it to ourselves, but there are people who
it's horrible.
Can't even
I hate
control it.
Yeah. I feel very ashamed of this part of my mental health. Like it's something that I haven't found power in. I don't know if I ever will. Because I have actually found a lot of power in my depression. And with the eating disorder, it's like, wow, like I just wish that I didn't find this battle with food so often because a lot of it is also culture, being raised in ballet, being raised in an atmosphere with a mother who's also a model. And like my mom was beautiful growing up. I compared myself to her a lot. And then, being with a modeling agency at a young age that's always telling me that I should lose weight as well. Because back in the day, the culture of modeling agencies was you got weight as soon as you walked in.
I had a friend who, she did modeling when I was in high school. And I remember she told me that she used to play soccer.
Right.
And then they said, stop playing soccer. And when she was like, why? And our mom had to explain to her, like, if you play soccer, you're going to build muscle. And then the more muscle you have, like the curvier you'll be. And like, that's not what they're looking for right now. And like, that's so bizarre to me too.
Yeah. So I tried college, didn't work. I'm very much so an artist.
Yeah.
I dropped out after 3 years. And while I was in college, I was toying around with my degrees because I actually saw myself becoming a lawyer.
Really?
I was pre-law.
I saw myself becoming a teacher or like a journalist.
I'm so good at confrontation. I'm so good at argumentative situations. I don't back down. I'm very
persistent.
I'm pro-conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm very calm when it comes to differences. I want to understand. I want to dive in. I want us to discuss. Like, I don't really like the reactive nature of society. I like conversation because people are different. People come from different places. So that's where I saw myself going. Like, maybe I should be a lawyer. But, when you're in college, like, you don't really have to get a bachelor's in anything that's pertaining to law. Like, you can just get like a dance major. So I started with like a dance and studio art major. And so in studio art, we were learning about different forms of art and what that looks like. And some of it's painting and some of it's fashion. Is that what got you into like fashion? Yeah.
Aha. Okay.
That's how I got into fashion because with my studio art degree, I was finding myself painting a lot of sketches about like clothing. Like it was so interesting. Like I was sketching clothing. So that's kind of how I got into like fashion and beauty. It was just like coming into that power of like, divine feminine beauty and unique and just accepting every body type and every gender. And that's kind of how I got into the world that I'm in.
Like
now.
Do you like know how to make clothing at all? You do?
Yeah.
That is, I've always
but
wanted
not
to
good, but not good though. Like I know how to sew, but I don't know. I'm kind of a free spirit when it comes to like art and design. Like I didn't take a class. I just figured it out.
So if you just figured it out, were there people you like looked up to who are those people?
Alexander McQueen was my biggest inspiration. And I think that I had a moment in college where I was like, I really don't want to be here. It just feels like this is something I'm good at, but I'm not passionate about, and I'm a passionate bitch. So I dropped out, and I was between going to fashion school or going to beauty school or becoming a tattoo artist. Those were the three.
Those were your three?
Yeah. So I had ended up going to beauty school because people always need their hair done, and it also allows that human connection. I get to hang out with people all day.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I'm a hairstylist because of that.
I've always enjoyed fashion, but I don't know if I've ever looked up to anyone. I feel like I do enjoy like different style aesthetics, but I don't know. When it comes to fashion with me, I feel like even growing up, like I never was like, were you always into fashion, or was like that something you found out along the way in university?
I was, because my mom was a model, and she lived in LA for a long time. She was making it out here as a singer, and then she found my dad, and she moved away to be with my dad. And that's a big reason why I came back to LA, is to kind of like break this generational curse with my mom, because I didn't want to derail my dreams for love or derail my dreams.
Someone else.
Yeah. So
I think the same. Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of my passion for fashion that comes from my mom, because growing up, my mom was very different. She would pick me up at school, and she'd be wearing an all leather outfit with a chain belt and red lipstick, and she was like a f***ing vibe.
That's a slay. Like,
no, she was a slay.
That eats. Like if I saw if we went to school together and I saw your mom picking you up, I'd be like, Mom, I want to go home with her.
Yeah,
like,
she was a vibe. I also was kind of jealous of her, though, at the same time, because I wanted to be beautiful like that. And I was kind of an ugly duckling a little bit, because, you know, I just didn't know how to style my hair at that age. I didn't know how to do makeup. I didn't know how to dress. I was always a tomboy, too. So I was always kind of like f***ing with gender in my clothing choices. Like I was wearing a lot of guy clothes half of the time, because I was also a daddy's girl. So, and my dad's a biker. So I was like back and forth.
So like Harley Davidson.
Yes.
Got it.
So I was like back and forth between hanging out with my mom and my dad, where my dad was very rough around the edges and wore, you know, ripped jeans and t-shirts, and my mom was like this beauty queen. So I think that's where my fashion sense came from, just a lot of fluidity, kind of like defying the norms of like what fashion looks like, wearing things together that shouldn't go together, but you kind of make it work.
See, growing up, oh my God, excuse me.
Another burp.
I mean, like growing up, like from grades 1 through 6, I went to Catholic school, uniform.
Oh my God, same.
So then after
I can't believe we both went to Catholic school.
Wait, when did you graduate from Catholic school?
No, I pretty much got kicked out.
Oh my gosh. Wait, can I ask why?
Honestly, it's not that cool. Like my parents just like couldn't afford it anymore.
Oh, yeah, no. Catholic school is expensive for
I was
no
always
reason.
being sent to the principal's office for shit, though, I will say.
I think I only got sent to the principal's office. Actually, that's a lie. I got sent to the principal's office, I think, twice. But the one time it's because I did flood the entire bathroom.
Oh, okay.
I was in like the 2nd grade and I had to use the restroom during lunch. And I don't know if like every other school is like this, because when I went to public school, like in middle school, like if I asked to go to the bathroom halfway through the period, like my teacher would be like, okay, like go.
Yeah.
But like in Catholic school, it was like, why didn't you go at recess? Why didn't you go at lunch? And I remember I was in the bathroom, and I don't know what in my like child brain was like, oh, look at that urinal, let's flush it like 20 times. So I'm like flushing this bitch, and I'm like, hell yeah. And I'm washing my hands, and I turn to the right, and I'm like, oh my God, like it is overflowing. What do I do? So I was like, let me just shove a whole bunch of paper towels in that bitch. So I shove a whole bunch of paper towels in there. And I was like, okay, that looks like it fixed it. And I go back to class. Like the bell rings. I hear all my classmates going back to class. I'm like slowly following behind them. And all of a sudden, I remember my principal and the custodian. Mr. Tony, I'm so sorry, but I also love you. Mr. Tony was the custodian.
Yeah.
When I used to walk home, well, not walk home from school, but like he literally lived next door to my school. And I remember I always just like say hi to him, especially after school, because the fence separating the playground from like the school playground and the outside was literally his house.
Yeah.
So I'd always like climb on the top of the like the slide and say, hi, Mr. Tony. I love you, Mr. Tony. Anyways, I remember Mr. Tony standing out there, and my principal is there, and they called me out, and they were like, Spencer, do you have anything you want to say to us? And I was like, no. I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. And they were like, we're gonna ask again. Were you in the boys' room earlier? Did you do anything? I was like, no. Yeah. And they're like, Spencer, your shoes are wet. my feet tracked the water from the urinal into my classroom, and that's how they knew it was me.
Oh my
because they just
gosh.
literally followed the
Stop.
footprints. And I did get in a lot of trouble, but it was like, I was in the second grade. I wanted to see how it worked, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, but fashion sense. Sorry, that was a derail.
ADHD at its finest.
Like literally. So when I ended up going to public school, I wore like graphic tees from Walmart and like my mom's shoes and like basketball shorts because I didn't know what to wear. And then I get into high school, and when I went to high school, I went to a magnet school. I was also required to wear a uniform.
Right.
So it was like I never really knew any like sense of style actually until I started social media. And I feel like when the pandemic happened, that's when I really got into like feminine style choices. And I was like, okay, like I want to wear a lot of skirts. I want to like wear a lot of crop tops. And then it wasn't until I moved here. Well, not even then. It wasn't until like maybe like a year and a half ago where I was like, I want to include both. Like I want to feel masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
Because even like I also came out on TikTok as gender fluid. So it's like I want to incorporate both. And it wasn't until I was here and I met a lot of the friends that I have now who are very good when it comes to fashion sense. And I was like, oh, like this works. Like I feel like for a while when it came to fashion, I was very like black and white. Whereas like I could either look masculine or I could look feminine. And it was so hard for me to try to mesh the two together.
Right.
But now that I can, I feel like a baddie.
Yeah. No, there's so many different layers to fashion. And I think for me, because I'm such an intentional bitch, I look at, you know, my it's the soul. I just look at like the background of my eating disorder, for example, and I look at fashion and I'm like, damn, that is where the safety came from. Just the part of my brain that was like, you know what, if I hate my body this much, maybe I can decorate it a certain way that I don't hate it as much anymore. That's why I started getting covered in tattoos. Also, I started getting tattoos because I hated my body. So then it was this thing about decoration, you know, like I want to really love what I have. I want to embrace what I have. I was so tired of, you know, mutilating and just being so hard on my body. I didn't want to do that anymore.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah,
that is actually
where it came from.
So beautiful. Because
that's why I'm tattooed. It's not because I want to look hard. I'm soft.
No, but it's like I love your tattoos too as well. And I feel like a lot of the times when, at least from my understanding, a lot of the people that I meet who like have tattoos, they are the nicest people in the world. Yeah. And I hate this whole like stereotype, especially around like people who have like full sleeves or whole body tattoos, that it's like, oh, it's not appropriate, or like, oh, you can't find a job with those tattoos.
Right.
What about having tattoos on your body doesn't make you adequate to do a certain task? That's like actually insane to me.
Well, and this is where the confusion comes from, because I wear an outfit and people think I'm a narcissist. They think I'm just trying to, you know, get attention. And I'm like, I see fashion as art. I actually just wear what I wear because I like putting things together and seeing if it works. And it's like art to me. So it's so interesting, you know, the collective, like, just how people view you versus what the intention is behind what you do.
What you're doing, yeah.
Because I'm like, damn, like I genuinely just, I see myself as art. I just want to decorate myself. And I think that's why when I started manifesting my clothing line, which will hopefully drop this year, because I'm looking for a manufacturer right now.
If you're a manufacturer and you're watching this,
please message me. But I started this brand called Baddie because it's about, you know, the suicidal to successful. It's about the people that have been through a lot of shit, that have been through the fire and became the fire. And Baddie is very similar aesthetically to like Juicy Couture, Fenty by Rihanna, Alexander McQueen. It's very shocking. It's very striking, but it's very bad bitch. It's like, it's this clothing line that's based around accepting your body for what it is, but also, you know, decorating it and making you feel like a fierce bitch. It's going to go up to 4XL. So yeah, I'm so excited about that, but it is art, you know, and that's where I want it to be coming from, is like the place of art.
And I love that too, because I know that there are a lot of people in this world who like get into fashion or get into certain like aspects in their lives because they know that it like can bring revenue.
Right.
But it's like, hearing the way you speak about like fashion and like how that's like impacted your life, and even like decorating your body and how that's allowed you to appreciate your body, like that's beautiful. And it's like you're doing what you do because you love it, and you also want other people to feel that same like feeling you have, I guess.
Yeah, and I was also the bullied kid growing up. I don't know if you were bullied.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, I was like, people don't know that about me either, because I feel like I give off this vibe that I'm just like pretty girl privilege, you know, but I was not. This is not what I was when I was a kid. Like, I got my ass kicked on the daily. I think that's why I'm a little bit of a fighter. Like, it's probably why I'm good at confrontation, because I'm just like, don't with me.
Like, that's why I literally had to go to Catholic school, because I was in kindergarten. I was going to public school, and well, I had gotten punched in the eye. The first incident, I got like punched in the eye, and I had a black eye. I went home, and my mom was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
And it was because this kid, he was like a year older than me, pushed this other boy onto the ground who was my friend.
Right.
And he was like, "If you help him up, I'm gonna punch you."
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "I'm helping him up."
Right.
And then I helped him up, and
like,
I got
punch
punched
me,
in
bitch.
the eye. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But the thing that really like threw my mom over was I was on the blacktop, and I remember like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And this pissed my mom off, and looking back on it, I see why. Like, if I had a child and this happened to me, I'd be livid. There was this kid, I forget his name, and I was on the blacktop with my friend, got put in a chokehold, and I woke up, like I passed out.
Wow.
And they didn't know where I went. I was still on the blacktop. I had to walk back to my classroom.
Wow.
And after I told my mom what happened, she was like, "Oh no, we're not doing this." I remember when I like went to aftercare at public school. Whenever we would play like Simon Says, it was always I remember like there were like these two kids that like constantly were just so terrible to me. They had like a whole club, and the password was Spencer's super duper fat, and like I couldn't get in to the club because no one told me the password. Sorry, that's kind of like that's but I remember they used to play Simon Says, and they'd be like, "Simon Says, kick Spencer to the ground."
Yeah.
And everyone would kick me to the ground. And then, you know what's funny? Bitch, guess who has their own podcast now?
Oh.
None of you. Bitch.
Drop that mic.
Sorry, I'm sorry, but do you know what it is like when you are constantly bullied growing up, and now I get to sit here, look at a camera, and be like, "Screw you, bitch." Like, honest
That's on
to
period,
God.
though. That's
Thank
on
you.
period.
That's all I have to
No,
say on
I
the
mean,
matter.
Look, the biggest thing I got bullied for when I was a kid was how I dressed. And now I'm starting a clothing line. So
Eat a bag of dicks.
eat a bag of dicks. But like, it's so funny because back then I felt like I internalized that pain, because I think there's two different types of people. There's the people that are bullied, and there are the people that are bullies. Those are the two types of people in this world, bullies and the ones that are bullied. And when you are the one that is bullied, you have two choices. You can become a bully for survival, or because of resentment to being bullied, or you just internalize your pain. You take it out on yourself, and you're like, damn, if I'm this big of, an annoyance or a menace to society, like maybe I just shouldn't be here. And you go suicidal almost. Like I honestly, I got to a point where I was like, damn, why do kids hate me so much? How come I'm like always battling this?
I feel like also like I growing up was like such a like people pleaser.
Yeah.
I wanted people to like me.
Well, and then you base your self-worth off of their opinions of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's like, holy shit. And I even remember like, it's one of those things where it's like they call you annoying. They say you talk too much. So what do? You become the quiet kid.
Right.
And then everyone's like, why don't you talk?
Yeah.
Like, why are you so quiet?
Oh, it's true.
Because you told me half my life that I was annoying.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, and it's so weird too, because it's like you get called annoying and you talk too much, and then you become the weird quiet kid.
Right.
Because you don't talk at all.
Yeah.
And it's like there isn't like I feel like when it comes to like being bullied, there is really no safe ground. It's like people will find a reason to not like you for whatever reason. And it's like, it's because they're bitter.
Well, I have found so much power in the things that I was bullied for. So honestly, I'm thankful, because it was almost the spiritual thing when I went through my spiritual awakening, which was an actual thing. It actually happens. You can go through a spiritual awakening. It's wild. I went through one when I was 27. And I came to this realization that I had ran away from my inner child so much because of trauma. And I came into this power with the things I was bullied for. So I was bullied for the way that I dressed. I was like, you know what? I love fashion. I'm going to go into fashion full time.
Mm-hmm.
I was bullied for being loud because women are supposed to be more quiet and submissive to be sexy. And now I'm like, you know what? My voice is loud. I'm a lion. What do you want?
Leo.
I don't care. Leo energy.
I
don't care. Like you find power because then you realize, you know what? The kids used to make me feel like I was an alien and that I didn't fit in, as if that's a bad thing. But now I don't want to fit in. Now I'm okay being an alien. I actually love that I'm different, because to be different, you are the one that's going to change things. You're going to inspire people to be themselves.
Also,
and it's
someone
great.
has to be the first. Like, that's what I always think of too. It's like, if you are going out of the house and you're like, I don't know if I should wear this, like no one else wears this, someone has to do it first.
Yeah, wear it.
And
be
guaranteed someone else is going to see you wearing it. And yeah, someone might hate it, but someone's going to love it. And they're going to be like, I want to do that. For example.
Cue my eyebrows.
Literally, do you know Aaliyah's interlude?
Yeah.
Her fashion sense, I love her.
Yeah.
She was also just like a treat to have on the show. But even her, like I see so many people dressed like her now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying she was the first one to start doing it, but I feel like at the same time, it's like online, it was the first time I had ever seen someone dress like that fully. So it's one of those things where, speaking of dressing like that, oh my gosh, such a good transition. I'm a genie on ES. Speaking of trending, you want to play a game?
Are we doing this?
Yeah, do you want to play a game? It's called In or Not. Oh, it's called Hot or Not. I said that. I just pulled the first one.
Okay.
Sliding into DMs, hot or not?
Hot.
Yeah, I think that's hot.
Yeah, get it.
As hell, yeah.
Get your man.
Like,
get your girl.
like actually, do what you got to do. Sliding into the DMs is so fine. That is, and it's confidence.
Confidence. That's what it is.
There we go. Would you like to choose one?
Okay. Drunk texting your ex.
Not hot. That's a no. That is a no for me.
I don't think it's hot, but I'm with it.
If it happens, it happens. Okay, here's my thing. Like,
okay, but there's a reason I'm with it though.
Okay, why are you with it?
Because sometimes when you're like intoxicated, you say things that you wouldn't normally say when you're sober. And it's like, get it all out. Like, just tell them how you really feel. Like, if you're actually mad, tell them you're mad. I don't know.
No, okay. That I will say is, maybe like,
I'm toxic.
No, not at all. Because, okay, when I get like tipsy even, like I'm very like, I don't want to say confrontational, but it's like so hard for me to like sit there and lie to you.
Right.
And like, for example, there was this like guy that hit me up the other day, and I am not joking. This man has asked me to hang out so many times, and every single time I'm like, okay, let's hang.
Right.
I don't hear from him. So he wants to go on a walk eventually, and he hit me up literally like 2 nights ago. He shouldn't have, because I was one too many shots in, and he was like, so are we gonna go on a walk this week? I wish I could. I'm not going to tell you what I said, but I basically was like, so thus far, I was like, I was really hoping that you would prove to me that like you're actually like willing to meet. But right now, all you've proven to me is that you're wasting my time. So either we're going on a walk this week or we're not at all. And you're not going to hear from me again, because I'm sick of sitting here and texting you and then waiting days, if not weeks at a time, to get a response. And I was like, if you think,
such a Leo.
I was like, if you think that's how you're going to get my attention, it's not. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way and chase you. Like, if I'm going to chase. Here's my thing. I'm fine with chasing, but at least put in a little bit of effort back. Like, if I'm going to chase you, respond, ho. Because even then he was like, I was like, you don't respond, so why am I going to text you back? Like, now I just feel like I'm annoying. He was like, you don't annoy me though. And I was like, well, make it clear by messaging me back, you weird ass.
Yeah.
You're not a weird ass. I mean, I don't know yet, but like, we'll find out maybe if we actually do hang.
Yeah. I mean, I don't drunk text my ex, but I have friends that are going through breakups right now, and they're texting me, Divinity, I just did this thing. And I'm like, you know what? Live your fucking life, girl. If you drunk texted them, whatever. You got it out. You said what you wanted to say, even though it took some alcohol. Like, I don't know. Just sometimes you just have to shit happens.
You just gotta let it. I feel like even at the same time in my brain, it's like, if you're texting someone who like did you very wrong in a relationship, and like you never really got to say your like final piece,
that part
I support. But if I know as your friend that they treated you terribly and you're texting them being like, I miss you.
Oh, no.
That's when I'm taking your phone and I'm putting it in a glass of water.
Same.
Like, back up.
Yeah.
The next hot or not is long distance. Like, I personally could not do long distance. Like, I'm just very big on, like, connection in person. Mm-hmm. I feel like I don't have any qualms with like people who do long distance. I think you are so strong for that. But for me personally, I feel like if I want to be in a relationship, unless like I've already been with them for a while and it becomes long distance, that I can do. But if we just start talking and it like forms long distance, I don't think I can do that. Like like whatever relationship there is, it has to start in person. Then it can be long distance. Because I want to be able to like trust and know you before I'm like, okay, go do your own thing. What do you think?
I've done it. It works way better if you are already in love and you're secure and you are super committed to that person. But it's still hard. I'm a sexual bitch. I don't want to be away from my partner for that long.
Yeah.
You know, I like intimacy. Physical touch is my love language too.
Me too.
So I think honestly it has to do with love languages, like
and words of affirmation.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a quality time physical touch person, it's not a vibe to do long distance. But it goes back to also like communication. How long are we going to be long distance? When are we going to see each other? Can I visit you? You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Prefer in person.
I do too. I do
okay,
too.
let's see. The person who plans the first date pays for the first date. I mean, I've been daddy so many times in relationships. I'm used to it.
I just like, for me, it's like, I don't care, but it's like, how do I put this? I will split the bill. That is fine. Like, I don't care if I have to split the bill, but it would be nice if he paid. That's how I see. Like, I mean, like here, I know that in a lot of like ways, like, how do I put this? Like, I don't know how to properly say this, but like,
are you a bottom?
Absolutely.
That's giving bottom energy.
Thank you.
I knew
like
it.
when it comes to like dynamics, especially like, you know how a lot of the times like in heterosexual relationships, even though a lot of the times I do even hear now like guys being like, oh, like we shouldn't have to pay for the first date. We could like split it on the middle. A lot of the times people like, especially like girls are like, hey, I want you to pay for the first date. I'm sorry. I don't really bottoms. Girlies, like we get it. Like you're gonna pay, like not you're gonna pay. Like I don't care if I split the bill.
Yeah.
But like if you invited me out to dinner, and you're not paying, like
top.
Right. Like I'm not the top. Yeah. Like
I have dated men that will literally freak out because I want to take them out and I want to pay for the date because I treat my partners the same. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl or trans or whatever. Like I will literally take you out and treat you, but I also love doing things Dutch. Like I love both, but I think the gender role thing is kind of weird to me personally, only because like love is love. Like I want to love on you. You're my partner. Let me love on you. But I get it.
See, like, I actually was just talking to my friend about this the other day, and I don't know if this is like controversial to say.
Yeah.
But it's like, at least for me, I'm not saying like I just when it comes to like relationships and gender roles, I'm not saying like in my brain like, oh, like in like a heteronormative relationship, I'm not saying, oh, the woman should stay at home and the mother should be the caregiver. Like what I'm saying is it's like I want to be pampered. Like I want to be treated.
That's okay.
Well. And like
that's what you want.
Exactly. And it's like I understand where people come from where they're like, let's break the gender norms. I get it. Like, I'm all for it. Like, look at me. But at the same time, in relationships, like, and when it comes to relationships, at least for me, I like the feeling of like, I'm being pampered. Like, I feel girly. Like, oh my God, you want to take me to get my nails done? OMG, love you. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
I don't believe in breaking gender norms as much as I do breaking the thought process that everyone should be the same and want the same things.
Okay.
If you want to be pampered, own that. Because one of my best friends in the entire world is married, 4 kids. She stays at home with her kids. Her husband works full time. It works for some people. Other people like me, I like to do the give and take thing. I like to be pampered. I like to be baby, but I also like to be daddy half of the time. You know what I mean?
Word.
So like, I don't know, just like learn what people want and don't shame people for wanting those things. Some people do want to be taken care of. There's nothing wrong with that.
I want to be taken care of.
Yes, bitch.
Thank you. Okay. This one is catfishing. I'm absolutely the hell not out.
Weird.
It's gone.
You're just weird.
Like, that's no. And you know what? I will say this too. Even if you're using the same, even if the person in the photos is you, if the photos you are using are from 5-10 years ago, and when I see you, I'm like, who the hell is that? That's still catfishing in my eyes. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I definitely fall in love with the person before I like fall in love with any appearance. Mm-hmm. But it's also like when you're on like dating apps, right? What draws you in? Mm-hmm. It's like you look at their aesthetic, you look at their appearance, and it's like, if you're not the same person, like if that was you, I mean, it is you, but it was you. You know what I mean? Like that's still catfishing in my eyes.
Yeah, it's weird. People are weird. Flying out to meet someone for a hookup.
If I'm getting paid to fly out, so be it.
I mean, I've done it.
Like you and Leo out here literally.
I'm a lesbian though.
I love this.
I'm not even a lesbian. I'm pan. I'm like, I love love. I don't know.
Every dancer I've ever met pretty much is pan. I'm a dancer.
That's what it is.
Dancers are pan.
I'm telling you, we are sexual. I always tell people if you date a dancer, you can never go back. You will be f***ed up the rest of your life because we will mess with you and you're like, you will like, oh my God, you will never, ever get the same. I'm sorry. It's a thing.
I believe you.
We know. Like, we just know.
Because you said up on top. Ooh.
Yeah, and like, it goes back to the intimacy. Like, we're just used to intimacy in ourselves too. Like, you learn how to touch.
I love that.
The whole thing.
See, like, I was a theater kid, so like, I just know how to cry. Sorry.
Work.
Being friends with your ex.
Okay.
Right. So I would like to say something. If I personally believe
this one's blurry.
This is what I have always believed. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. If you are still friends with your ex, either one of you or both of you were never in love to begin with, or one of you was never in love, the other one still is. Because in my brain, I couldn't, even like guys I've like fallen for, not like fallen in love with, but like just like really liked and loved getting to know them. Mm-hmm. I don't see myself talking to them again because I know for a fact that like if I talk to them again, it's not going to be reciprocated. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like either in my brain, it's like if you go back to someone, either you love them or if they come back to you, they love you. But it's like, either you both never loved each other to begin with or like one of you is still in love and I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not actually friends with anybody I was hardcore in love with and vice versa. Because I just think that once you reach that level, it's really hard to transition that into friendship. However, I also think that there are situations like kids, marriage, like there are situations where that kind of changes a little bit. Like it's like, we're saying that from a place of we haven't been married with kids. Like I feel like if I had been married to somebody with kids, we would be friends. But for the sake of just the how children, much we've had together, like a life together.
I also feel like for me, if I had kids with someone, like I would put whatever issues I had aside because I want to be there for my children, and I also don't want them to not have their other parent around just because there's an issue. And I'm not gonna lie, this is why currently Kim Kardashian, the way she's been raising her kids is so phenomenal. And I saw her one interview where she was saying like she doesn't talk negatively about Kanye.
Yeah, very
because
respectful.
She wants her kids to grow up having respect for their father. And when they get to an age where they can form their own opinions, go for it. But it's like, that's how I want to be with my kids. If me and my partner have a messy divorce, unless they're like terrible to the kids and like I'm taking the kids as like a safety measure, if it's not that, I have no qualms. Like,
yeah. I think being friends with your ex is
cordial.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely one of those things where it's like, you don't have to you don't have to like look at it in this black and white way. Like, oh, it's bad to be friends with your ex if you guys are in love. It is hard. It's just harder, but it's possible. I know plenty of people that are friends with their exes that they were at one point in love with, but there's a lot of murkiness that comes with that. The new partner coming in, how they feel about it. There's just so much. But personally, I don't know. I don't know if I could do it.
Like, if you do it, that's cool. Me, I know I can't. Like, I know I can't. I know myself too well.
Yeah, because those feelings are like, I'm never gonna see you as a friend. Like, I'm just
that's
never.
No, literally, like, if I've seen your naked body and like if we've, you know, like, that's not like, sorry, like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're gonna call me bestie now? Hell no.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh, we're getting coffee?
Like, what do you mean we're gonna, like, come on now. Like, okay, wait, did I choose or did you?
I think this is your turn.
Friends spying on your date.
Weird.
I've like made videos joking about it, but I've never done it. The most I will do is ask my friend to share their location with me, and we have code words. So it's like, if they send me, like, for example, before they go out, like, this code words aren't set in stone, but it's like, if I tell them, like, if you need me to call you crying to get you out of the state, say, like, send me a text and like add a cookie emoji. I've done that before. I've fully called my friend fake crying, being like, I need you here right now, because that's just how it has. And my friends have done the same thing for me. They've called me fake crying. I feel like that's okay, but like being there in a wig,
weird.
That's like, that's, do your thing. I really hope your friend's comfortable with it, but I wouldn't be.
Yeah, my friend wanted me to go to her date one time because she didn't know if she trusted the guy or not. And I was like, if you don't trust the person you're going on a date with, you probably shouldn't go.
Right. Like, that's like a big sign to maybe not go.
Literally. Like, weird. Not deleting your ex's pictures from social media. I think that's weird. I think
that's so weird. Okay, thank God. I'm glad you said it first.
No, I don't support it.
It is so
Take them
weird.
all down.
I'm sorry. If you... First of all, bitch, if I were to go, if I was talking to someone new, right, and I'm like scrolling through their feed and I see 3 years ago, happy Valentine's Day to the love of my life, I'm going to say, who the hell is that bitch? Delete it right now. Like, what? Like, no. Like, why do you still have that up? If you have photos in your phone, that I understand. Like, if you have photos that go back years and you're like, oh, I just never got around to deleting them, I don't care. But if it's on social media for other people to see, are you out of your damn mind? Hell no. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, I mean, you share pictures of your relationship when it's happening because you're allowing people to be into your like intimate private life in that moment. But that intimate private moment is non-existent now. So why is it still online? Because it's like it still exists.
Exactly. Right. That's my issue.
I can't.
You just took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Like, again, like with social media especially, I feel like once it's up, it's just like,
right.
I mean, it's there. I mean.
Put it in a folder on your computer.
Nothing's ever really deleted. You know what I mean? Like, everything's like my digital footprint. If I ever try to get a regular 9 to 5, ooh, I already know if I were to hand in my resume and they did I really can never get another, like, a 9 to 5 ever.
No, you cannot.
Oh, well, but, like, my whole thing is, like, if you saw photos of your ex online, it's like,
yeah,
what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, get a grip.
Yeah.
Peace and love. Dating your friend's ex? Absolutely shit. The hell not. What is wrong with you? If you date your friend's ex, wait, did you do that?
Okay, listen. Okay, listen, wait. Okay, you're 21.
Okay.
I'm 29.
Well, I mean, like, if, like, enough time goes by.
Listen, when you get older, you start to realize that all these things in your early 20s that were like, I would never do that. You're like, well, it's situational. Like, that's you at 29. Like, I was like, I would never in my life date my friend's ex, ever. But if my friend and their ex have not talked or dated or been in each other's lives for years,
that, like, I will accept.
Years.
That I can accept.
And it's like a different lifetime. I feel like if you have a connection to somebody, it's like, okay, you know what? Life goes on. You didn't work out. You're not each other's people. I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like if it's like a friend,
if there's a respectful thing there, then like why not?
If like the years have gone on, that I can do.
If
but
it's
like,
immediately after, that's a no.
That's a no. Also, if it's like my best friend, that's like, I don't know. Like if I'm still best friends with that person, I just like, I don't know if I could.
When you get older too, it's so much harder to date because you get so much more involved in your career and your circle gets tighter, it gets smaller, it's harder to meet people, and people end up having baggage that you don't want to pick up. And so as where I'm at 29, I am so much more picky, and connection and like, I don't know, being around good people is really important to me. And so I feel like if I were to meet someone that was a friend of a friend of a friend that had dated someone else, but it was like years ago, like I'm open to that.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. 100%.
It's respectful.
I understand. I understand.
But right after, no.
Right after, no.
No.
Virtual dating, never met in person.
No.
I can't do that.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Weird. I can't.
Like video chatting?
Yeah, I don't.
I just like, my whole thing is like, again, like the intimacy thing. Like, okay, sorry, but if we're dating, you're gonna have to bleep this out, guys. I want to like, come on. Like, I need that like.
Sorry, you're gonna have to bleep all mine out too.
No, like literally, if we're dating, like I want to have. Here's my thing: having casual sex is one thing. When you're in love with someone and you're having sex with them, oh my god,
yeah,
whole other level. And my whole thing is like, if we're in a relationship, I don't give it up easy. But when it does happen, like. Sorry, like I can't like not have that physical interaction. I can't not be able to kiss you. Like that for me is like, I'm sorry, I have to reread this. Never met in person. If
are you
eventually
going to meet? I was gonna say, are you gonna meet? Is this just gonna be forever?
Is this like is this forever? Laura, you wrote this.
It's like the people that are like meet online and like have been quote unquote dating for like years and have never met, and they're like, oh, we're gonna get married.
Absolutely the hell not.
Yeah, no.
Mm-mm.
No, I feel like there needs to be a cutoff. Like, okay, we're gonna Skype for 3 months, and then we're gonna meet up in this country, and
or like we're gonna meet up in a public area, so I know you're not gonna kill me.
Yeah, like figure it out. Like people are so different in person too. That's a whole thing. Like, I've had connections with people over the phone and over video that when I met them in person, that connection was completely different. So
I feel like it's also so much easier to like put up a bold face over like text.
Oh, going hiking for a first date. Yeah.
I'm down. That is so cute.
My God.
That's hot. That's in.
Actually, I'm from Colorado. I love going hiking on a first date.
I'm from not a lot of people know this, but New Jersey is like, well, at least where I was from was like full of mountains, and we had like botanical gardens. I actually on like one of my first dates did go hiking there once.
Yeah.
Finding love on Raya. Isn't Raya like that?
I'm going to say yes.
Isn't Raya the celebrity one? First of all, okay. Now let's get into this real quick. I'm sorry. Let me bring the mic up. Okay. I don't know who the hell works at Raya, but enough is enough. Accept my damn application. Thank you. How many goddamn people do I have to have recommend me? Half of my damn contact list has recommended me, and you bitches still have me on a wait list at this point. I know bitches who oh my God. I quite literally, I'm not joking, know people who aren't even in the public eye, who are on Raya. How? Oh, it's because they're straight. Let me in, bitch. Thank you. Sorry. Screw you, Raya. Like, I'm not joking. I've waited so long. I know so many people who are on Raya, and they're all what? Straight. Like, literally, you're all straight. Like,
I'm on Raya.
You're on Raya? What the hell? What the hell? Like, come on. I'm so mad. Wait. What the bitch? What do I have to do? Let me in. Oh my God. What the I'm like sweating. I'm so mad. Like, what?
I just spilled my coffee because I can't.
Do you want to just pull one more?
Okay, we're pulling one more. We're finishing this.
I'll let you pull one more.
Well, I'm pro Raya, but I'm gonna go over there.
I would be pro Raya if these bitches didn't let me in.
I will say though, they waited an entire summer to accept me, and I definitely went through an ugly girl period where I was like, Am I not cute enough?
Oh, like I've waited a year.
Is it the brows? Like, what is it?
It's been a year for me.
Date your friend's sibling. Never done it. Not opposed.
I've never done it. I'm not opposed either. I mean, like, here's the thing. I've always felt that, like, if I'm friends with someone and they love their sibling and I treat their sibling right and they treat me right, like, I don't really see an issue with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if it happens, it happens. But it's like, if anything, again, I'm an only child, though. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what it's like to have siblings and be in a dynamic where, like, my friend dates my sibling. Dating a professional athlete.
Done it. So many times. So many.
Same here. Because I'm on Raya.
Oh, my God.
What's
Ghosting. Yours? Don't do that. Just don't. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know what? I'm going to take the lead on this. I hate people who ghost. Let me tell you why. Because when you ghost people, it's a reflection of you more than it is of them. Stop with this narrative that you don't owe people shit. We get it. We know. We don't want you to owe anybody anything. But be a good person. Like, just be a good person. It's not even about owing people stuff. Just be a good person. Just say, I'm just not that into you, and leave it at that. Just give them closure.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Now, what if it's like you've only talked to them or like gone on like one date with them?
I am such a communication whore that I will literally tell somebody after a first date, I'm not into you. I'm sorry. I wish you the best. You're just not it. You're just not it for me. And that should not be offensive because you're going to be it for someone else.
See, like, my thing is like, if it's like 1 or 2 dates, if I get ghosted, I don't mind because I've also ghosted. But it's like if we've been talking for months or like we've talked back and forth, we've hung out multiple times and then like you disappear, that's when I have an issue. But I also understand where you're coming from.
I don't think it's ghosting if you mutually just don't hit each other up. Like, if I don't get a text from somebody that I went on a date with, I just kind of feel like we're on the same vibration already.
Okay, work.
But if they're messaging me and they're like, hey, do you want to go out again? Do you want to go out again? And I don't respond, I just think that's rude. Like, communicate. Why are people like this? Just get back to people and say, no, I'm not into you.
Yeah, right.
My God. Like, do you know how
guys.
much healthier it would be to just do that? I can't.
Let me message someone back really quick. I'll do that later. Maybe, I don't know. Sorry. I mean, like, okay, again, like, my whole thing is like, I don't ghost someone unless I feel they deserve it.
To me, ghosting is just not communicating. And if somebody was a piece of shit on our date, I will text them or call them and be like, that was bullshit. And I'm just calling you out right now and letting you know that this was not appropriate so that for the future, you've just got this in the back pocket. If you don't want to listen to any of this and you want to keep being toxic, that's fine. But somebody needs to tell you because sometimes people don't even recognize their toxic shit.
You're a badass for that.
I'm just saying, like, I cannot. I tell people all the time, like, this is not okay. Maybe I'm supposed to be a mom. I don't know. I need kids.
You are mother.
God damn. I'm like, just fucking tell people because this also goes back to humans are not always accurate with what they see in the mirror. Sometimes you're more accurate in your self-awareness with how people see you. It's not always like, oh, don't care what people think. People don't see you the way that, you know, you actually should be seen. Sometimes people really see your shit. And if they don't call it out, you're just going to keep going. And like, I've had moments where I'm like, damn, I just got called out. Like, that's a pattern I need to break. I need to not do that. And it took somebody saying that to me to do that. So I don't know. It takes no effort either on my end. I don't think it's a lot of energy to just send a text and be like, that was bullshit. I didn't like that. I'm not going to see you again. But hey, wish you the best.
That's sweet.
Fix this.
That's nice. But like,
get hit by a bus.
Also, yeah. Like a 16-wheeler. Well, on that note, before we close, would you like to tell anyone your upcoming projects? I know we talked about Baddie, but if you want to talk about that again.
Yeah, so I've got a podcast actually dropping. It's kind of more based around artists and like showcasing people that are very different and unique and just aliens, you know. So I'm going to be showcasing celebrities and artists and dancers and people that have been on TV and whatnot. It's very industry forward, but I'm also going to be showing the single mom who's a small town girl running a small business and is trying to support her kids, but she's an artist. Like, I just really want to elevate artists and people that you know what they create, but you don't know what the intention is behind
it.
Yeah, so it's called All Eyes on Me because it's based off of the part of the Britney Spears circus song, All Eyes on Me in the center of the ring, just like a circus. Yeah. And it's about how this is your moment. This is about you. You can show off. You can shine bright. Nobody's going to think that you're too much. Like, show off. So,
I love that.
Yeah, that's coming up. And then Batty.
And then social media handles?
Divinity Ray.
Oh my God, like what?
He's been burping this entire episode.
No, that was like, that was my sinus, like my sinuses. Like I actually... Well, as you all know, my social media handles are Spencewuah. If you don't know, now you do know. That's SPENCEWUAH. You can listen to this podcast. It drops every Thursday on all audio streaming platforms. But if you want to see it happening live and in person, head to the Past Your Bedtime YouTube channel and subscribe. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment, because if you don't do those things, I'm convinced you hate me. And I love you guys so much. So it's like, don't hate me, show some love. Until next time, again, I love you all so much. Episode drops every Thursday. Be safe, be healthy. I will see you all soon. Bye-bye. Mwah.